And has there been any coronavirus here in the tent or in the camp? Do you know of?
Well, I think that I've seen some reports saying that some people crossing the border, they may have either a symptom or have some symptoms, but this is not a testing center. We don't know, but we have seen some like a German international rescue organization. They brought their testing kit to this tent, so they lined up the refugees and test them. Because if someone tested positive, then they will place them in a small car and bring them to other European countries because they need to be quarantined. And if they test negative, then they can stay in the big bus. So they use the big bus to transport people to somewhere in Europe.
Okay. And so where did the funding come for this amazing tent?
Yeah, so thanks to all the donors of the Rule of Law Foundation, because everything is paid by the Rule of Law Foundation, headquartered in New York. And this foundation was started by Mr. Miles Guo, the founder and the leader of the new federal state of China. He also started this wonderful movement called the Chinese Whistleblower Movement to take down the Chinese Communist Party. And so he's being followed by hundreds of millions of Chinese people, both inside China and outside of China. So because the Chinese people, more than anybody, want freedom because they didn't have it, not like you in Australia. Some people who are lucky to be born in a free country, you have the freedom since you were born, but the Chinese people, they don't. They're struggling every day. So they give money, they donate to the Rule of Law Foundation, and a lot of our donors are the Chinese people from outside of China, the so-called Chinese diaspora. They're the ones who want to help their brothers and sisters back in China to be free, because the Rule of Law Foundation has a clear mission to take down the Chinese Communist Party and to help the Chinese people to live in a peaceful society governed by the rule of law.
Okay, and how can people who are watching support? Is there like a link they can go
Yes,
to?
thank you so much for asking. I love this question. So for all of people from around the world, we thank you for watching, and you can follow us and you can support us. You can visit the Rule of Law Foundation's website, and you can also visit our new website, the new Federal State of China, and the URL is nsfc.globe. And so we have both websites up and running. You can check us out. And most importantly, you can download the Getter. Because Getter is a free social media platform that doesn't censor anybody's voice. This is the place that our voices are not censored. So follow us on Getter and follow Mr. Miles Guo on Getter, and you can see what we've been doing, and stay in touch. And we hope you can become part of us, because it takes a global fight to take down a global threat to the peace and security, which is the Chinese Communist Party.
Okay, cool. That's everything for me.
Thank you. And can you tell me your name and where are you from?
Sure. My name is Elliot Goodyear, and I'm a journalist from Australia.
Okay. And are you independent journalist, or are you affiliated with any media outlet?
So we are self-funded, independent journalists, so we aren't associated with any media outlet.
And so tell me, so after hearing about the new federal state of China and what we do here and our mission to take down the Chinese Communist Party, what's your take on that? What comes to your mind when you're hearing all these things? Is this the first time you hear about us?
Yes, this is the first time I've heard about you. In fact, when we first arrived at the camp here, all we saw was Communist Party, and we thought maybe there was CCP people here. Yeah, so we were surprised and very interested to actually find out about the work that you guys have been doing here. Yeah.
So our existence helped to clear that misperception or misunderstanding, because a lot of people think the Chinese Communist Party represent the Chinese people, and we're here to tell people, no, we're not represented by the Chinese Communist Party. We are the new Chinese people, and we are represented by the new federal state of China, whose mission is to take down the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, it actually feels great to see an active anti-Chinese force being led by Chinese people. It's something that I haven't seen in this manner before anywhere in the world. So.
Amazing. So what are you going to use for this interview? Are you making a documentary, and will you be sharing our story with more people in Australia or in English-speaking countries?
Yeah, so this will be published to YouTube, and this particular interview will form part of a documentary on the conflict in Ukraine and the refugee spillover outside.
Thank you for your work, and we always want to give a shout out to the independent journalists who are not controlled by the legacy or the so-called mainstream establishment media, because they have been influenced by the Chinese Communist Party. And this is the reason why a lot of people, even though we exist in massive scale, and the work we do has a huge global, profound impact, but very few people, especially the people from around the world, haven't heard enough about us. This is the reason why the mainstream media are not reporting us. They're not doing their job because they refuse to accept this is a history-changing event unfolding. We're changing the history, and they don't want to report this because, the reason why it's money talks, and they probably have made some deals with the Chinese Communist Party, and they practice either self-censorship or they just try to silence us. And to say the least is that some mainstream media are actually distorting us and defaming us and attacking our leader and founder, Mr. Mao Zedong, especially in America, because Mr. Mao Zedong resides in America. In America, you name it, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the Mother Jones, MSNBC, a lot of the mainstream media are fabricating the stories about the Chinese whistleblower movement. So that's the reason why we need more people to stand up, to express ourselves. We are the people. We, the people, we need to have our voice heard. So thank you for your work, and I hope to see your YouTube up running very quickly.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.